Hi, welcome back to Cedar Porch Homestead. I'm JR, and one of the major things that I hear a lot online and a lot on these YouTube videos is people that want to normalize failure. Now today we're going to be talking about where we came up short, but we're not going to be normalizing failure because failure really only happens when you stop trying. And we're not going to stop trying. We're trying new ways and we're finding out the ways that don't work for us. Now, I set up this greenhouse not too long ago. We were dealing with some lower temperatures at night. And one of the things that I didn't take into consideration here in South Texas is it might be 40 at night, but during that next day, it might get up to 85. And this time it got up to 90 during the day in that greenhouse, which absolutely scorched all my starts that I had in there. So I lost things like cilantro, I lost some kale, I lost some flowers, I lost some cucumbers. Let's not go into all the plants I lost. Let's talk about the ones that I think I'm going to be able to salvage. So one of the starts that I think I'm going to be able to salvage is these tomato plants right here behind me. Now I've got 13 plants and they're two different varieties, but they're all indeterminates. So I have to create a trellis system today because we're about to get rain for the next 3 days. I'm going to get this knocked out today, get these in the ground because, well, they're going to start growing and they're going to start trellising up and giving us some amazing tomatoes as long as I can get these guys in the ground so I don't ruin them. So let's get to work. Let's get this trellis system knocked out and I'll show you some interesting ways we're going to be knocking that out. So if you're not able to really tell the size and magnitude of this giant live oak behind me, just take my word for it. It is massive. So we have this one, we have another one right in front of it, and on this side of the garden, we have another giant live oak tree. Now, all this is on a ½ acre here in our own backyard. So what I am trying to get to is that the sunshine is a little spotty. We have to take advantage of it strategically through our yard. So morning sun and a little bit of afternoon sun, I get it right here behind me along the fence. So that's where we're going to create this trellis system for the tomatoes. And I'm using some of the old cedar logs that I had in my old garden as I'm replacing the cedar with the new timbers. Why not use that material? So that's what we're going to be using here. So we're going to be planting those tomatoes right here behind me in this narrow raised bed because we're not going to be planting a whole lot here other than tomatoes, some basil, some marigold, because those make some really good companion plants. So we're going to be planting those in a line here and creating a trellis system that I've already got it cut out in the shop. So we're going to be putting that all together today. Now for the bed itself, we're going to be doing the lasagna gardening, spaghetti gardening, back to Eden gardening, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be layered. We started with some cardboard because why not take advantage of your wife's Amazon shopping habits? Let's be honest, those are probably mostly my boxes. However, we're going to blame Courtney. So what we're going to be using on top of that is some widely available biomaterial called leaves. Now, we have all these live oaks that are shedding all their leaves right now. It's early spring, that's when they do it. The thing about oak leaves, they do not break down really easily on their own. So we're going to be sending those through the chipper real quick. And so we can get that to where it's going to start breaking down and being bioavailable for our plants. But let's get to it. That didn't work. Real quick, let me just show you how handy these little yard chippers are. Now, the one we got is a Landworks. It's a 2-in-1 or whatever you want to call it. It can do branches up to 3 inches. It can also do all these leaves. And really, that is kind of what I use it for. Now, there's some electric ones on the market that probably work similar to this. This one's got a 7 horsepower motor, so it works actually pretty good on these leaves. Now, with these oak leaves, it's not completely shredding them, but let me show you just how much it breaks them down. So as you can see, there's still some whole leaves in there, but they've been broken down and chipped up enough, and what that does is allows that to break down that much faster. And what we're trying to create here is a weed barrier. We're also trying to build our soil. So with doing the lasagna gardening or the Back to Eden, what we're doing is creating that cardboard barrier. We're creating these leaves. So as that breaks down over time, that's actually going to create like compost, and it's going to help feed the plants that we're going to be putting on top of it. Now let me spread this out, and so I can get the other raised bed in and fill that up with dirt, because we're getting real close to getting some tomatoes in the ground. Always got a supervisor watching me. Okay, so what we're using to fill this raised bed is some composted material out of my old garden. We weren't using those in those raised containers, so we're moving it over here. Now it is 100% compost that has been broken down. This stuff is probably about a year to a year and a half old, so it's nice and broken down. The organic matter is really high in it. Now tomatoes are said to need anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of soil to actually grow and do well. So we're going to be adding about 10 inches of soil to this raised bed. Now the reason that we're able to get away with that is because of the way we're doing this raised bed is that there are leaves and there is cardboard underneath. So as that tomato plant grows, the roots are going to be able to find their way through those leaves and cardboard as they break down into the native soil. Our native soil here isn't highly nutritious, but that top 8 to 10 inches is going to be highly nutrient dense. So this tomato should grow really well up this trellis. So one of the tricks is I've got a solid bar. I'm going to stick in this 1/2 inch PVC pipe, which is going to make it rigid for the top of that trellis. All right, so full disclosure, I've never done a trellis system like this before, but I think I figured out a way to do the string and make it stronger, but make it really quick and kind of fun to do. So at the very end, we tie a little knot just to hold it in place. Then we take our drill that's got a hook on the end and we twist it. We hold it tight, and then we take it to about where we want the length to be, and we tie another knot in it. And then when we put the screws a foot apart, we're going to wrap the ends so that we center the string for the trellis. Okay, so I've got the structure up, I've got the string all on so that the tomatoes have something to trellis up. And I don't know if you can tell from behind me, but the skies are starting to darken up, so I'm running on limited time, but let's get these tomatoes in the ground. All right, so for these tomatoes, what we're going to be using to go up these trellises are these reusable tomato clips. And what they do is they actually grab a hold of the trellis string, and they allow the tomato to then grow vertically straight up. And that is going to hold all the weight of those delicious tomatoes. All right, as you can see behind me, we are all done. Now I've got two different types of tomatoes that we're growing on this trellis system. I've got San Marzanos right here behind me, and I've got some Amish paste here on the other side. Now they are indeterminates. I said that earlier, but let me specify what that means. Indeterminates mean that they're gonna continue to grow and they're not gonna stop. Determinates, they grow to a certain height, they bush out, they produce. Indeterminates just keep on going. That's why we're using this trellis system. So they're gonna go up the trellis, over the PVC pipe and back down and create a lot of delicious tomatoes. Now, if you can tell kind of behind me, it's starting to cloud up. So I just beat the rain. So we're gonna clean up and we're going to call it a day. Now, if you haven't had a chance to hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Give us a thumbs up and hit that notification bell so you're notified when we come out with new videos, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much.